Hey, Hannibal here. We're going to talk about Wrapify. So how I started with Wrapify? Well, I was online. I don't remember exactly what I was looking at, maybe a Facebook or something like that, but I came across this ad for Wrapify and it said you can get up to $400 a month with a wrap around your car. And I was like, $400 a month? $400 a month? Like I just put a big goofy wrap around my car. $400 a month? You wrap me around. I wouldn't mind. Passive income, right? Driving around is $400 a month. I was like, that's very interesting. So I immediately downloaded the app and was on a waiting list. Basically, I had to wait until a campaign was given to me. That did take a couple of weeks in my experience, but I was really excited. I was like, hey, this can help pay down the car. I can still do DoorDash and Uber and all that stuff. So yeah, let's do this. I finally get a campaign approved for me. I had to wrap Zoom Communications, the company, onto my car, and I was like, all right, let's go. And through this experience, I realized that, hey, this is not for me. I'm not a big fan of the Wrapify service. So when they came to me with a new campaign, I actually have another email that came in today. I decided I'm not interested in pursuing, and I'll tell you guys why in just a little bit. For those who are not familiar with Wrapify is a company that pays you to use your car as a billboard for some company. To qualify for Wrapify, you gotta pass a background check and have a 2010 or newer coupe, sedan, SUV, pickup truck, or minivan without a significant amount of body or paint damage. You are not allowed to bring your beat up hoopty, expecting Wrapify to want to get that car wrapped because they are using the cars as a billboard for these businesses. The way the process works is you download the app, you put in all your credentials. After a few weeks or so, and this is my experience, you'll get a campaign. They'll give you some information. They will coordinate you with a wrap installer near your area. You take the car in, you get the car wrapped. And one of the things you do after they wrap your vehicle and you're doing your driving, every couple of weeks, you have to take a picture of the car to make sure that you actually have the wrap and it's still looking good. You didn't go there, get the wrap installed and peel it off and still getting paid to do nothing. And I want to say real quick to really make sure you guys know that if you're going to do this wrap thing, make sure your insurance is more than just the regular insurance. And I mean by you're insured to do DoorDash or you're insured to do gig work. One of the issues that I've noticed is that most insurance do not want you to use your vehicle to do gig work if you're only paying for the personal stuff, personal insurance, because you're out on the road longer and there's certain things they don't want you to do if you're not paying an extra amount of money. So having a wrap on your vehicle and you're not paying for that extra amount of insurance, if you are in an accident, you may be in trouble. That's just one caveat right there. I was selected to wrap my car with the business of Zoom Communications. I had that for a few weeks. I'll put the screenshot of my offer. It was a 25-mile daily cap. They have the area where you could drive. Obviously, it'll be the area you currently live in. Also, they will give you a multiplier if you will go in another area. And this, in my case, it's in Manhattan. I live in Brooklyn, but if you drive in Manhattan with the wrap on, you make a little bit more money. And so far, so you can see my weekly earnings is quoted for $40.53. Let's get into some of the reasons why I decided I was not interested in continuing to do this Wrapify thing. One of the first problems I had with the wrap initially was the safety issue. I was qualified for a partial wrap, but I felt like it was pretty much a full wrap. There were some parts of the car that was not wrapped. It was a good amount of my car that was wrapped. The wrap took all day. I was under the assumption that the wrap was not going to take their entire day. So that's one thing. If you get selected to do a Wrapify deal and you find an installer, they're going to hold that car all day, especially if they're busy and they got a lot of work going on. They're not necessarily going to take your car over the cars that are currently there. For me, it took about 10 to 12 hours. It took the entire day. One good thing is when they take the wrap off your car, it takes like an hour, half an hour. It was pretty quick from the time I dropped the car off in the morning from the time I got the car back. The problem was the installation of the wrap going in the back window of the vehicle. When the installer was finished, he said, hey, give it some time. You'll be able to see a little better through the back. But he did ask me, hey, do you have a backup camera? Which I said yes, but he's like, oh, no worries. The back window, there's a wrap on it, but it'll get a little easier to see after some time. The problem is that never ever happened. It did not occur. The wrap in the back, I could not really see a lot of anything. I saw some shapes, I saw some light in terms of, it looks like a saran wrap was wrapped around the back window. So whenever time I looked to even see what's going on, it wasn't a lot that I can see. I needed the backup camera to go backwards. And as we all know, people who started to drive before backup cameras, even if you have one, a lot of times when you go in reverse, you like to see in real time going backwards compared to relying on a camera. You never know, the camera may not work or whatever. And I use the backup camera for the parking sometimes, but that was a big safety issue. And I knew it was a problem, but I thought, you know what? Let me stick it out. You're getting paid just to drive. And during that time, I was really heavy with the food delivery stuff. I was outside every day, all the time. But let's go on to some of the other problems I had. Driver support. Not necessarily in terms of them being rude or disrespectful or anything like that. When you want to communicate with them, the recommended way to communicate with them was through a chat in the app. Now the problem is, we all like to complain about Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub about how terrible their driver support is and blah blah blah, but at least you get a response no matter what time you call. Wrapify, if you send them a message, sometimes they don't get back to you until the next day, sometimes even 2 days. But if you're looking for instant, hey, I have a question or there's something going on, you're not going to get a response very quickly. But the customer service was a little slow. But I never had, let's say, any issues with customer service. But at the same time, when you're dealing with business, you're dealing with the wrap of the car, you want to make sure you can contact someone as fast as possible. That was not necessarily true with Wrapify. Another problem, and it's not really a problem because I decided to do it, but it's the wrap itself. You have a big goofy wrap around your car. If you got to do something special, either you got to go on a date or you got to travel, you will have this thing around you at all times. But that's not the biggest deal because you decided to do it. And the biggest problem for me is the pay. $40 a week is not enough money for me to put a big goofy wrap around my car. I'm sorry. $40 is $40, but they got me with the $400 a month to get me in, right? Like the ad, if you ever been and you ever seen the Wrapify ad, they say, oh, you get up to $400 a month. Similar to a DoorDash saying you're gonna make up to $25 an hour. Well, not in all cases. So this one was a partial wrap, but $40 a week is just not enough money. To a point where I couldn't see the back of the car with the back window being covered with that wrap. Wasn't safe. It's not a lot of money to have that crap on your car. I think if it was $100 a week or $200 a week, but $40 a week, it just didn't make a lot of sense for me to continue. It just wasn't, it's just not worth the money and the hassle. That's just my experience with Wrapify. Have you guys signed up for Wrapify? What kind of offers are you getting? Are you getting more than $40.53 average weekly earnings? Tell me all about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.